That's pretty quick. And that's actually kind of hot. Welcome back, everybody. Now today I'm testing out 4 popular hand warmers from Amazon. Now this is right up my alley because I have Ray nose, which means I have unusually cold hands. I've used a lot of electric warmers over the years, so I'll be curious how these actually stack up. So let's take a look at the 4 contenders. First up, when I placed my order, these were the #1 hand warmers in the category. These don't have a name, so I'm going to refer to them as their model number, which is 218. I paid about 28 bucks for them. It can be used as 1 or 2 hand warmers. Snap them together and it looks almost like a mouse. Next up, these don't have a brand name either, so I'm going to go by their model number, which is HW01. These were #3 in the hand warmers category and also a #1 new release in the sports and outdoor category. Then we have the Ocoopa MagTwins. These magnetically connect. It can be used as 1 or 2 hand warmers. Also features a built-in power bank. This one, when it's not on sale, is the most expensive of the bunch. And finally, this was #14 in hand warmers when I placed my order. I got this one because it's probably the most unusual of the bunch. It is the Orastone. It's also listed as the most wished for in this category. I paid about 24 bucks for this. This one also has a built-in LED light. So that's the preliminaries. Let's get to the first item. All right, this one doesn't really have a brand name, but it is popular online with 4.6 stars. So let's crack this one open. No brand name. A blank card that says best wish. All right, so this one has a USB charging cable and it comes in 2 parts. This can supposedly be snapped together to form 1 large hand warmer or taken apart to make 2. Provides anywhere from 6 to 12 hours of heat, depending on which settings you use. The heat setting ranges anywhere from 90 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Heats in 3 seconds and has 3 temperature settings. They say it takes about 3 hours to charge. Some comments point out that it only heats on one side, so I guess this side doesn't heat up. So I'll have to charge this one up and see how it goes. All right, let's take a closer look at these 218s here. And let's get a mouse. In fact, it has 2 fake buttons on here as well. But let's pull out the thermal imager and see what happens here. Now, right now, as you can see, they are room temperature. But let's turn them both on. This one is level 1. Let's see it warm up. Oh, that's going quick. That's pretty quick. Looking at this side, this shows the temperature range on the screen. This shows what's highlighted. So right now the highlighted area it's getting warm. And I've just turned this one on maximum. So on the left we have level 1. On the right we have level 3. Let's see what happens. Now they look pretty even on the thermal imager. Let's take a closer look here. Yeah, this is definitely a lot hotter. The heat is pretty uniform on the area that gets warm, but it's the only area that gets warm is right there. This one maxed out around 131, but it seems like it's kind of varying just a little bit, but it's still pretty warm. The level 1 hanging in the low 100s. Not a very large area of warmth, but it's pretty warm when it does get there. So I was originally planning on taking a long walk today and trying these out for my first use, but it started raining, so go figure, here in Vegas, right? But I'm on my patio, I'm still exposed to the cold for Las Vegas temperatures, and it's kind of breezy. So this is already sending my Ray nose into a frenzy, and my fingertips are very cold. So I'm gonna stand here and let my fingers get cold and try these out. So the first up, the 218s. I don't know what they're actually called. I'm calling them the 218s. That's what they get for not having a brand name. I've call them 218s. Now the problem with these, I can already tell. I mean, when you use them individually, none of this area is providing any warmth at all. So you have a relatively small area right here that's providing warmth. It just feels like a little, almost postage stamp size area of warmth in my hands. Let me put it together as a single warmer and see how that does. So I'm snapping it together now. So now it's 1 warmer, which kind of resembles the warmer I usually use. This is the one. This is not part of this review. This is the warmer I usually use. The 218s look like a smaller version of that. Let's see. In one hand. See, now that's better. It's still pretty small, but at least it has 360 coverage, unlike before where it's only one side. Here, you smell that? Billy wants to smell a hand warmer. Now I've got this on level 1, and once again, the level 1 isn't very impressive. I'm gonna crank this one up. This only has 3 levels. I'm gonna go all the way up to level 3 on this one, on both sides. I'll let it warm for a little bit and let you know how it goes. All right, the 218s have been sitting for a little bit. They're at max temperature here, and that's actually kind of hot. It's actually kind of uncomfortable. It's weird, it's uncomfortably hot, but in a very small area. Using it as a single unit, that's pretty warm, but there's like spots where it's cold. So you have like a warm spot, a cold spot, and a warm spot. It's not all the way around. It's very hot though. This is pretty warm, but it's weird. It's like this part's hot, all around the edges are not. This whole top section is not hot, so you have a little patch of warm, a little patch of warm. If you're looking to warm your palms up, it's probably pretty good, but I'm looking for more than that. Fingertip wise, it's not comfortable to grip in your fingertips, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. Now, as far as the pros and cons for this one go, I like the fact that it's got a true 2-in-1 design. This feels like a single unit, and this feels like 2 individual hand warmers. The fact that it looks like a mouse is kind of funny. I was actually out the other day goofing around, pretending like I was using them as a mouse, and it looks realistic. The only real cons with this one is that the heating surface area is not very large, and they feel kind of cheaply made. Next up, this is another one that doesn't seem to have much of a brand name, but this one is also popular online with 4.7 stars. The price range in this one is about $18 to $24, and they have a nice card here with the user manual on the back. Now, this one has a 6,400 milliamp hour battery that can last 9.5 to 16 hours, once again, depending on the heat setting. They say it ranges from 104 to 131 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 to 55 degrees Celsius. Heats in 1 second. They say it's explosion proof. I haven't seen that in the other ones. Some comments say that this one also only heats on one side. Let's take a look at these HWO1s here. Now you can see there's room temperature. Let's turn them on and see what happens. Go level 3 on the right, and we'll go level 1 on the left. The one on the right, it's automatically up to 110, that fast, very quick. And look how hot this thing's getting. So once again, level 1 on the left, level 3 on the right. It's quick. I mean, I'm only at 20 seconds in, and this thing is already peaking at 121 degrees. Very quick. Level 1 is right about 98 degrees, and level 3 is up around somewhere around the 120 to 125 mark. So very fast and pretty good range and quite warm. Also, as you can see, the heat distribution is really only in this area. These outside areas, not warm whatsoever. So if I hold it in my hand here, you can see my cold fingers once again. You don't see the heat, but watch this. Look how hot my palm got. So you can see my cold fingertips here. I'm trying to warm my fingers up. You can see it peeking out from behind my fingertips. Let's see what happens here. It does warm it, but it's just not a very big warming area, so I don't know. A nice range. It does warm quickly. It just doesn't have a very big warming area. Let's take a look at the HWO1s. Once again, that's what you get for not having a brand name. I'm going to call it whatever your model number is. So let me see here. Put it in my pocket. They're very small. Not only are they very small, but only one side is warm. So you have a small patch of one side that's warm and the other side is not so warm. So what you really have to do is kind of choose between your fingers or your palm. I can choose my fingers to get warm or my palm to get warm, but not both. This side is cold, this side is warm. This also has 3 levels, so I'm gonna crank this up to 3 and see how it goes. All right, I cranked it up to 3, we'll let it warm up and see how it goes. All right, the HWO1s are maxed out. I've been letting them sit for a while. Let's see how warm they feel. Wow, that's really hot. It's kind of uncomfortably hot. It's not even pleasant. I guess if I did it like this with my fingertips, it might be pretty good, but put it in your palm, that's warm. My fingertips are so cold, they don't really mind so much. This is the way I'd probably want to use them, which is that's not really that comfortable. If you see right here, when I hold it like this, a lot of the warm area is actually out of my fingertip range. And these don't even stick together, so they're not magnetic, they don't hook together at all. They're not bad, it's just there's better options out there. I wanted to show you what the Amazon graphic looks like. They show these lighting up, which might entice some people to buy them for that reason, but that's just a graphic to illustrate how it gets warm. It doesn't actually light up like that. They also say that it's got a 6,400 milliamp hour battery, but actually it's 2 3200s. But as far as the pros and cons go, these get the hottest of the bunch and they seem to heat the fastest. The cons would be that the 2 parts don't connect together in any way, so you have to hold them separately. And the surface area that gets warm is pretty small. And actually, this is the one I'm most curious about. This is the Ocoopa, which is the most expensive of the bunch. I paid about 40 bucks for this. It ranges from 28 to 40 bucks. It's also a 2-in-1 model. They say it heats in 3 seconds. What's interesting about this one is it also doubles as 2 5,000 milliamp hour power banks. This one has 4 temperature settings ranging from 100 to 136 degrees Fahrenheit. They say it's 16 hours of heat, but they actually mean 8 hours per side. I can actually feel this is magnetic, so they're pushing it apart. This one can also be used as 1 big or 2 small hand warmers. It has a 4.5-star rating on Amazon, and this product is actually a sponsor of the Renault's Association. As you can see, they are at room temperature. Let's turn them on, see what happens. Level 1 on the left, level 4 on the right. Just taking a peek at one of these. Does the side get warm? Yes, it does. Does the back side get warm? No, it doesn't. So it's only 3 sides, but that's still better than just 1 side. There's not much difference between level 1 and level 3. This is 101. This is 104. It's still going though, so let's let it sit a little longer. All right, we're over 2 minutes now. You can see that the level 4 is warmer. It's up in the 115 range. The level 1 looks like around the 95 range to 100. Well, it does seem kind of slow, and it's not really getting up to the 136 that they claim. But it does warm on 3 sides instead of just 1, so that is kind of nice about that. All right, here's my cold fingers. Let's see what we got. I like that I can fit the way it contours my fingers. That's kind of nice. It does my fingers are able to wrap all the way around it. And let's see what it looks like on my fingers afterwards. See, look at that. It covers almost the entire fingers. I do like that. The coverage is very nice compared to some of the others. Of course, one nice thing about the Ocoopas is that you can actually plug in a USB cable, and this one is charging, as you can see. That's something the other ones do not have. It's kind of a cool extra feature. So this one was set to level 4 for a hand warmer, but once I plugged it in, it stopped warming. So it's not gonna warm and charge at the same time, in case you're wondering. So the first thing I noticed is that this warms on 3 of the 4 sides. It's kind of grip shaped, so it kind of feels nice to hold on to, but I don't think level 1 isn't good enough. So I'm gonna crank this up. I'm gonna go to level 3. Level 1 seemed a little bit weak. When your fingers are freezing, you gotta do better than that, right? And Bailey's on the air staring at me. What are you looking at, Bailey? So I'll let these warm to 3 and see how they work. All right, the MagTwins are on level 3, now much warmer. This is a level of warmth that I like. See, that breeze is kind of chilly. When those cold breezes hit me, my fingers just go right to bone cold. That's just how Raynos works. My fingertips are ice cubes. And I like the fact that I can grip onto this and I can get a lot of my finger on there. My finger goes all the way around it. So for fingertips, I'm kind of liking this one for the fingertips. It's pretty good. Put it in your pocket and you definitely feel it. I don't need my palms to be warm as much as my fingertips. And a lot of these hand warmers are aimed for the palms, which doesn't really do me much good. So the fact that this one is kind of a grip, definitely like those. I should also remind you this review is biased by someone who has Raynos, so I'm looking for something else than you might. You might be looking for your palms to be warm, which might completely change the results. But for fingertip coldness in Raynos, right now, I do like the MagTwins. I'm gonna go up one more level though, because the 3 is warm, but it's just not quite hot enough. Let's let that warm up a little bit and see how it goes. All right, MagTwins level 4, let's see what we got. Once again, just that fingertip grip style is so much better than the others. I mean, I'm a little biased already. But I will say though that it's not as hot as some of the other ones. So even though I think it's more comfortable and I like a lot of things about this one, I wish it was just a tad warmer. You can also use it as one unit, but that's been my whole issue with hand warmers all these years is you have one warm hand and one cold one. I want 2. I want all my fingers to get warm, and that's what this kind of does, but it's just, I wish it was warmer. It's not as warm as the others. I would say design-wise, the MagTwins are far ahead of the others. Now, as far as the pros and cons of the MagTwins, I like the 3-sided heating. It's also very finger-friendly. The addition of the power bank is kind of a nice feature. The only real con of these is that they don't get as hot as the other models. Next up, this is probably the more attractive of the bunch. This one's by Orastone. This one's also 4.6 stars and Amazon's choice. They say it reaches about 42 degrees Celsius or 108 degrees Fahrenheit in only 2 minutes, which is a lot slower than the other ones that say a few seconds. They also say it lasts 4 hours on a charge. The listing says it's a perfect gift for men and women, but on the bottom of the box here it says for women. But that's not going to stop me from trying it out. It has a little strap here. You can put this on a purse or around your wrist. The battery on this one is 2,000 milliamp hours. It's probably the most attractive of the bunch, so we'll have to see how this one actually works. Let's take a look at the Orastone now. As you can see, it is room temperature. You can't even see it in the thermal imager because it's blended in, but let's turn it on and see what happens. So it looks like the heat is off to one side, but that might even out a little bit. Let's keep an eye on this. Right now, after only about not even 30 seconds, looks like we're getting up to about 90 degrees at the hottest part. Now there's only one setting they have here, and they say it's gonna take, I think, a couple minutes for it to warm up completely. So let's just keep an eye on it and see how it goes. All right, around the 2-minute mark, it seems like we kind of leveled off here in the somewhere around 110 to 115 range. In fact, it went up and went back down again. That's kind of interesting. It's actually decreasing now. It looks very even though. Let's turn it over. We have the other side is actually pretty even too. You can see where it actually is on the table. It left a warm spot. There's a little bit of a warm spot right there. You can see my cold fingers on top there. Let me put it down and see what happens. Oh yeah. You can see my palm is warmer than my fingertips. I got a little bit of warmth on my fingers, but mostly the warmth are in my palm there. And nothing on that side. Look at those cold fingers. So overall, I think I like the size, and the heat distribution is actually pretty good. Time now for the Orastone. Once again, this is not a 2-in-1, this is just one hand warmer, but what I can already tell you is that it has a much bigger coverage. So my palm and my fingers are both getting it. Even though it won't warm both hands, it's a much better coverage. This one's much better than the 2-1/8s. But again, you only have one hand, so you gotta buy a pair of these probably, which doubles the cost, which makes them kind of expensive. There's only one level on this one, so if you want to crank up the heat, there's nothing to crank up. That's my problem I've always had with it when I use one hand warmer, is I'm only warm one hand at a time, so I'm kind of going back and forth. I guess if you had it on your wrist, it'd be better, because then you can just, but then what are you supposed to do when you're not using it? It's just kind of flopping around, I don't know. It's pretty nice though. I mean, honestly, it's pretty good. I like the size of it, and I like the level of warmth it gets. It's not hot, it's warm. I wish it was a tad warmer, but I do like the size of it and the coverage of it. Although this strap is kind of, I see why they have it included, but to me it's getting in the way more than anything. Now as far as the pros and cons go, the pros would be that I think this is probably the best made of the bunch. It's probably the best looking one. It also has the largest surface area, and this strap could be handy to some people. The cons would be that it only has one setting, and it has the smallest battery of the ones I tested. So let's recap all 4 of these hand warmers, shall we? The first thing I want to point out is that 3 of them all say they heat within 1 to 3 seconds. Well, they begin heating, but all of them take about 2 minutes to hit their maximum temperature. They all kind of have their pros and cons. If I was going to pick one personally, I'd probably go with the MagTwins because they're finger friendly. They also have that power bank feature, but they also don't get as warm as some of the other models. For something that's compact and ergonomic, I might go with the 2-1/8s. If you're just looking for raw heat, you want to go with the HWO1s. And for a single unit with a larger surface area, you can't go wrong with the Orastone. But that's all I've got. If you've tried any of these hand warmers, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.